you're having trouble finding that perfect gift for a loved one, a Portland Spirit cruise is a great option because Portland Spirit gift cards never expire and are valid on any cruise they sell, which includes my personal favorites, Wine on Water, Seven Wonders of the Gorge, and their very popular happy hour and dinner cruises. I've personally gone on a few Portland Spirit cruises and highly recommend them to anyone who loves boats and being on the water. Head over to portlandspirit.com for all the details. That's portlandspirit.com. Portland Bureau of Transportation wants you to get home safe this New Year's Eve, so they're offering $10 off Uber and Lyft for trips that start in the city of Portland from 7 p.m. on December 31st through 4 a.m. on January 1st, all while supplies last. You can get your discount code on December 31st at portland.gov/SafeRide25, or you can just ask your bartender for a coupon on New Year's Eve. Help us all ring in the New Year safely. Please do not drive while intoxicated.
Today on CityCast Portland, we're discussing our official new city administrator. We'll also take a look at why the state's new gas tax is now on hold, the latest local government declaring an emergency over local ICE activity, and much, much more in our news lightning round. Plus, we'll dive into our mailbag and hear from you, our listeners. Joining me on this midweek roundup is our very own senior producer, Giulia Fiaoni. Oh, and after the interview, stick around. Janessa White is going to be joining us for a conversation sponsored by Simply Eloped about how eloping can be a simpler, more budget-friendly way to get married. It's Wednesday, December 17th. I'm John Notarianni in for Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Hello and welcome everyone to the Midweek News Roundup. Julia, thanks for being with me this morning. It's been a minute since you and I have done one of these.
I know, I was thinking about that. Good morning, John.
Today is the day that we are going to catch up on some of the stories that happened over the weekend and earlier this week. And we are going to aim to give you 5 headlines in under 5 minutes. This is the lightning round. But Julia, before we get started, I wanted to flag a change that we just made over at our daily newsletter. We gave it a slight name change. It is now also just CityCast Portland. Julia, how do you feel about having the newsletter under the CityCast Portland banner?
This just makes sense. We're all one big happy family here. So I think for the newsletter to be under the same name just makes everything feel a little more zen to me. How about you, John?
Oh, same. Yeah. To peek behind the curtain, in case those of you don't know, like we are a team of 4 and we are all working on the podcast and the newsletter every day. So we sort of hit a point where we're like, wait, why do we have 2 different names for these 2 publications? We are like all doing the same thing every day. But anybody out there, if you see the name change, nothing else has changed. It is going to be the same content in the newsletter every day, just called CityCast Portland. So, All right, Julia, let's get into it. Lightning round time. Would you like to kick us off with the first headline?
Yes, I hope I can get this under time. I'm not feeling confident this morning, but let's see.
You can do it. I believe in you. I'm going to count you in. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So this comes from some reporting by our gal Sophie Peel at Willamette Week, and she's talking about how last week Portland City Council voted to approve the appointment of Raymond Lee to the most powerful bureaucratic position in Portland, our city administrator. And a reminder, his position came out of the 2022 vote for the charter change, which gave power to a city administrator to run departments and bureaus. So Raymond Lee was a longtime city manager of Greeley, Colorado from 2021 until November of this year, when he left to, quote, explore new opportunities. Greeley is an agriculture town an hour north of Denver with a population of about 115,000 people. Raymond Lee has also spent years as a deputy city manager and director of public works in Amarillo, Texas. On top of a rigorous and competitive application process, City Council also questioned him for 2 hours last week before voting him in. Many of the questions addressed the ongoing tension between the current city administration. Just to finish up, there's a little bit of tension right now between the current city administration and council. And Lee's role is kind of seen as like a broker between the executive and legislative branches. So now that the decision is final, he's expected to start in January. So we'll see if he can kind of be the glue between the two sides. But
Julia, with complete disregard for the timing.
I had to add that in.
but a great summary. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think is so interesting is this idea of how Lee sort of gets in between the mayor and the city council and is sort of charged with, on top of running a frickin' city, of being a referee
I know.
between these two branches of government.
It's really intense.
Which is really intense, and it's going to be interesting seeing how it all works out. I wish you the best, Mr. Lee, and I invite you on the show. Hit us up.
Yeah.
Come on CityCast Portland. Let us know how you're going to do it. We want to hear.
Yeah, we want to know everything.
All right. I am ready for mine. Would you like to count me in?
Yes. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So I think the biggest political fight this year at a state level was trying to avoid huge shortfalls at the Oregon Department of Transportation. And there was a ton of work that went into this. A bill failed in the normal legislative session, so a special session was called, which managed to pass gas tax increases, higher vehicle registration and titling fees, a new transit payroll tax. ODOT's going to be okay, right? Well, no. Opponents of those new taxes just submitted nearly 200,000 signatures that are going to refer the tax to voters. That is more than double the 78,000 that has been required to get something like that on the ballot, which means two things now. One, we're going to be voting on this next fall. Two, those fee changes can't go into effect, so ODOT still faces this huge funding gap, and we don't know what's going to happen there yet. To be determined.
Nice, John. Oh my gosh. Good job.
I felt the clock coming up on me. Yeah, I mean, it is a big okay, so what do we do now?
Yeah.
Tina Kotek's government says that they are going to avoid immediate service impacts, especially for things like rural communities and veterans and people with disabilities. But ODOT really needed that money, and it needs to come from somewhere. So we are going to be hearing a lot more about this very soon, I think.
Very selfishly, I just a couple months ago shipped my parents' car from New Jersey, changed the title, registered it, got the emissions test, got license plates on it. It was so expensive. And I feel like if it was even more expensive, I would have felt even worse about it. So very selfishly, I'm like, oh no, it's going to get pushed back. But I know that this is a much, much bigger issue than me being a first-time car owner. But cars are expensive, y'all. It's so crazy.
Yeah, but you know what else is expensive? Roads and the infrastructure to maintain them and plows to clear them. Part of the discussion in this was maybe we'll just plow the roads less. That's not a good solution either.
No, that is not a solution.
Yeah. All right. Would you like to offer us your next headline, Julia?
Oh, I'm going to do my best. I feel like this is just intimidating this morning. Here we go. Count me in.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Go.
So this comes from some reporting by Julia Lopez and Fox 12 staff, and I'm talking about how last week Multnomah County joined a growing list of Oregon city governments declaring states of emergency because of ongoing federal immigration enforcement by ICE. This was made by Chair Jessica Vega Peterson, and I want to note that 13% of Multnomah County residents were born outside of the U.S., and the most up-to-date numbers reveal that government agents made over 560 immigration-related arrests in the Portland area in October alone. This emergency status brings a lot of things into focus, but most significantly, it opens up state emergency assistance, like financial relief for families and businesses and expanded access to food, housing, and mental health services. Now, there's so many examples that show just how bad things have gotten, but I wanted to mention that this announcement came after ICE agents detained a father driving his children to school last week in St. John's, which resulted in ICE agents shooting pepper balls at civilians approaching the scene. Did I get it?
You went over time, but I wasn't about to interrupt you on that last point.
I know. I had to get that point in because it was literally immediately after this announcement. So it was the arrest of this father driving his children to school, and then the day after Vega Peterson put this announcement out. And the list of cities that have made this announcement is growing quite large. Just to name a few: Salem, Woodburn, Hillsborough, Forest Grove, Cornelius, and Washington County generally. So it's really starting to affect everyone in very, very serious ways.
Yeah, I saw some video actually from that ICE arrest in North Portland, and it was just really, really tough stuff. And like, I hope that these emergency declarations are able to actually make some change here. I will say also that there is a GoFundMe to help the family of that student
Mm.
as well. And we'll throw a link to that in our show notes in case anybody wants to help out.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like the scope of the impact of these things is so hard to really grasp because it's not only the family that's directly affected, but it's the neighbors on that block, it's the other students who are walking to school. Like those types of interactions are truly traumatizing, especially for young people. So I think the community around it's doing their best to try and remedy in the ways that they can. But I'm grateful to hear that the county is stepping up and at least acknowledging some of that suffering because it's really bad.
Yeah, well, thanks for the update, Julia. Let's take a quick break and let's come back with some more headlines of the week.
Colder weather is coming, and with it, higher energy use. So if you're like me and are looking for ways to lower your electric bill this winter, PGE's customer dashboard makes it so easy to stay in control. Using your dashboard, you can track where your energy is going, see what's driving its use, and discover personalized tips to make helpful adjustments. All you have to do is log in or create an account, then use the Home Energy Analysis tool to update your home profile, and in just a few minutes, you're going to get suggestions tailored to your home and lifestyle. And while you're there, you can also sign up for paperless billing and explore other energy shifting programs recommended just for you. Go check it out at portlandgeneral.com/my dash. That's portlandgeneral.com/my dash. If you're a home DIYer like me, you might have a few leftover paint cans gathering dust in your basement. Or maybe your house already came with a bunch of them like mine did. So I'm happy to share that Paint Care makes recycling your leftover paint, stain, and varnish simple and easy with convenient drop-off locations as close as your local hardware store. Paint Care has 3 simple rules for painting smarter. 1, buy the right amount of paint for the job. 2, use up leftover paint. And 3, recycle the rest. If you visit paintcare.org/3simplerules, you'll find tips on how to do all 3. Buying the right amount of paint for your project, exploring DIY ideas for how to use up leftover paint, and also just look up the nearest drop-off site in your neighborhood. Paint Care is all about keeping it simple for Oregonians. Sometimes the best gift you can give your loved ones, especially older family members not brain rotting online like the rest of us, is a window into your life. Aura Frames helps keep your family close during the holidays by making it easy to share photos from anywhere using their app and their beautiful digital picture frames. I'm talking unlimited photos and videos sent straight to an interactive photo frame that literally anyone can use. And every Aura frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag. For a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off their best-selling Carver Matte frames named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code CityCast at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code CityCast. This deal is exclusive to our listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, Julia, this is the one that I am most worried about hitting time on. So wish me luck and count me in.
Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, the Oregon Government Ethics Commission just unanimously voted to investigate whether 6 city Portland councilors violated the state public's meeting law. This is all centered about a private August 6th retreat where topics might have included stuff like defunding Prosper Portland, the city's economic development agency. And this concerns 6 counselors, Candace Avalos, Jamie Dunphy, Mitch Green, Samir Kanal, Tiffany Koyama Lane, and Angelita Murillo. This is the progressive bloc that is often referred to as Peacock. Oregon law prohibits a quorum of a legislative body from privately discussing legislative matters without notifying the public. The counselors say, actually, this was just a draft agenda. The retreat was for team building, not policy making. This is the second time that these members of council have faced an ethics complaint in the past year, but this is the first formal investigation. There is going to be a follow-up meeting on this coming up in May. I knew I wasn't going to be able to quite get it.
It was like 10 seconds. That was a whole mouthful, too. Just so I can get this clear in my head, John, it's a problem because of just how many people were there if they were discussing matters that it would be against the rules to discuss because there are 6 out of 12 council members there.
Exactly.
In private. Okay.
It's like a quorum thing, like 2 counselors, sitting in a cocktail bar and talking policy is completely fine. But at a certain point, it becomes a quorum. And with a quorum, it becomes technically like official city business. And open meetings laws means you can't conduct official city business. This is sort of a law to prevent people from just doing shady backroom deals. And that is a very good thing. But this is sort of a murky one where it's like, what was happening? Was it not? So yeah, it is still, by the nature of the situation, pretty opaque. And I think we're going to be hearing more about this over the next couple months.
I'm also just curious where they held this retreat. I always picture when people say retreat, even if it's work related, I'm like, were you all like in the Bahamas floating on inner tubes drinking martinis? Like
I was imagining it more of like an après ski, like Swiss Alps sort of like situation. No, I think if that were the case, we would have heard about it quite a bit more.
Oh, yeah. No, it'd be a different story.
All right, Julia, you've got one more for us. And this one is also a mouthful. I wish you luck.
So much background.
I will count you in.
This is not going to happen. Okay, I'm ready.
We're the ones who pick these stories for ourselves, Julia. We can't be mad at it. We're the ones who decided what we were going to discuss. All right, here we go.
You're right.
3, 2, 1, go.
So this one comes from Jeremiah Hayden at Portland Mercury, and this is continuing our conversation from last week, detailing how the city's housing bureau recently reported millions in funding raised from 2021 to 2024 that was never allocated. Please go back and listen to that episode. To bring us up to speed, City Council's Housing and Homelessness Committee referred a resolution to all of City Council urging Mayor Wilson to allocate those dollars towards rent assistance and stabilization to slow the flow into homelessness due to a lack of affordable housing. This comes after many months of tension between the mayor and city council on efforts by the mayor to address homelessness through temporary shelters. The resolution seeks to increase funding for 8 different programs this fiscal year and into the next 2. These programs include things like late rent support, eviction rehousing, and tenant legal aid. In order for all this to be finalized, though, city council and the mayor have to be on the same page during the next budgeting cycle next year. So there's some background on this I want to get into, but I don't want to go over time. Am I done?
If you would have stopped before you said so, you would have hit it straight on. But you did go a little bit over.
I could feel it. Feel it.
Yeah, please give us some more context on this.
Yeah. So basically, what's interesting about this whole situation is that it's not only that they found this $21 million that wasn't allocated within the Housing Bureau. It's the fact that the former Housing Bureau director, who was a very big deal, very good at what she does, was kind of forced out, says that she resigned. Some people say it was a forced resignation at the same time that this money was announced to the public. But the sticking point is that she said in a memo recently released that the money was found back in July and she wanted to talk to the mayor and council and the public about it. But at the time, the deputy city administrator, which was her boss, told her to keep it quiet because it would have been, quote, a big PR problem. Now, it's turning into somewhat of a bigger PR problem because people are questioning the intentions of the city administration as to why they wanted her to keep it private, especially because Mayor Wilson was having such a big push to do a lot of this temporary shelter work in order to, quote unquote, end unsheltered homelessness. So there's a lot of loose ends here that are still being looked into, and how this all ties together is not exactly clear right now.
And you thought you were going to be able to say all of that in 60 seconds.
That's what I mean. That's a whole other 60 seconds right there.
I will say, despite this whole shit show, It is nice to see some forward momentum here. It is nice to see that there is something potentially positive coming out of this. And I think that the places that they are looking to sort of designate this money is the right choices,
Yeah.
because I think it's smart to do it for emergency uses, and also to do it in ways that, this money can get out the door potentially very quickly, but it's not like ongoing program support, right? It's not like the sort of thing where this is going to prop up a program and then if this money doesn't come back around, then that is going to fall apart.
Exactly.
So yeah, silver lining in all of this kerfuffle.
Yeah, the silver lining is that we have more money to spend on something that is a big issue in our city. But there's definitely some politicking going on that maybe needs to be addressed also. But yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Julia, would you like to pivot? Are you ready to dig into the mailbag?
Yes, I love this part. Let's do this thing.
All right. Well, you're up first. Julia, you have one from our recent episode. The comments keep coming in about our Seattle versus Portland episode.
Yeah. So this one cracked me up. This was in relation to the CityCast Seattle host Jane's jab at us right at the end of the episode where she said, well, Seattle doesn't really think about Portland anyway. So that was a good endpoint.
Brutal.
But this anonymous listener wanted to write back and said, quote, "That's absolutely fine by us. We don't think about you either. Keep coming down here to Portland to enjoy our sales tax-free, all caps, shopping and other tax-free benefits, as you all seem to often do and truly seem to enjoy. You guys visit Portland in droves and you spend big bucks here year round. I know, I work in retail and see the money you drop when you visit. That's terrific." I love that. Portland welcomes all of our visitors and especially our neighbors to the north. Perfect. No notes.
Portland as a Seattleites shopping destination. I mean, it's true. I am not going up to Vancouver to do my grocery shopping. Oregon's tax code is screwed up in so many ways, but no sales tax has its perks.
I went to Costco in Vancouver, Washington once, and I was like, oh, cool. They have like full bottles of vodka. So expensive. So expensive.
All right. Well, I've got one. Very different sort of sentiment. This is from our conversation on last Friday's roundup about Jefferson High School and the potential plan to end the sort of dual enrollment district that it has with Grant High School and a lot of the community uproar surrounding that decision. Well, we heard from Jesse, who had this to say. I just listened to the news roundup yesterday, and the discussion about Jefferson really hit home for me. I have a first grader in PPS, and we live in North Portland. When we first started in public schools and I was getting familiar with the layout, I thought it was really strange that Jefferson was dual assignment for our neighborhood. And all of these conversations about their plans to reinvigorate Jeff, the pushback from some parents in some of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city who are also dual assignment with Jefferson and Grant has been appalling, frankly. When Claudia made this point, it resonated deeply with me, a white liberal, and I hope that you'll share with her my commendations.
Yeah. And John, if you don't mind, I'd love to read the quote that the listener wrote back to us.
Yeah. And this was a direct quote from Claudia. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So she wrote it out exactly like she said it, which is also really funny. I appreciate the attention to detail. So she said, from Claudia, this is what was mentioned on the show, like, take down your BLM sign, like you've lost your privilege to speak for the trees, so to speak, because that's what white liberalism is. And this is all, of course, in the context of talking about Jefferson High School and the many, many years that they've gone just trying to establish themselves as a community hub with that historical context.
Yeah, that was from last Friday's conversation on the Roundup with Brianna Wheeler.
Mm-hmm. So I have one more here for you, John, if you're ready.
Yes.
This is from listener Aaron, and they wrote us a little bit of a gluten-free food guide, and I'll tell you why. So they said, quote, "I love when you put out content that's a guide to our city. Often it gives me new ideas to suggest to friends and visitors around our city. But when you put out a food guide, I rarely hear anything that I can go enjoy myself. That's because me and gluten are not pals, and I rarely hear gluten-free options mentioned. Like, I couldn't even listen to this morning's breakfast sandwich episode because it's like why get my mouth watering and then realize I can't enjoy any of it? That makes me so sad. And a while back, you did a vegan guide of the city. Would you consider doing a gluten-free guide? And they're so sweet. They gave us a whole list for us to start off on. And what's hilarious is that I've tried so many of these places, not even realizing they're gluten-free myself. For bakeries, they mentioned gluten-free gem, which they said they have good pastries like donuts and pound cake. And when I used to work at a bakery, I loved gem pastries. So
Nice.
I totally second that plug. For pizza, they said Boxcar Pizza at the Zipper, which is in the neighborhood I used to live in. And they said, I've legitimately had a bite and then double checked with the employee. Are you sure this is gluten-free?
Yeah.
I don't know how they get the crust to be that bouncy, which again, I've tried that pizza. There's a lot of vegan options there too. So
yeah, Boxcar kicks ass.
yes, very inclusive spot. And then their last pick is FOMO Chicken, which is in a food cart pod on Southeast 28th in my old neighborhood. And they just pointed out that they have incredible gluten-free fried chicken. And I, again, would have to second that. It's very, very good fried chicken. Had no idea it was gluten-free. So those are 3 starters for some listeners out there that may be also gluten-free. This is something I've been thinking about more too, because one of my roommates is gluten-free. And the amount of times as an Italian, I've offered a plate of pasta and some bread without remembering that she's gluten-free. It's getting ridiculous now.
That is rough.
So I would love to make it up to her with some other tasty treats. So let us know and we can create a whole episode about it.
Yeah, my apologies to Julia's roommate. And thank you to Aaron. Yeah, Aaron had a ton of great ideas. We could have spent an entire episode talking about them. And maybe we will at some point in the future.
Yes, we definitely should.
Yeah. Well, Julia, before we go, I just wanted to give another huge thank you to everyone who joined as a CityCast Portland neighbor during our winter membership drive last week, including Claudia T., Caroline H., Elodie R., Kara L., Mayrena G., Adam W., Michelle F.P., John H., Adriana B., Kim T., Krista M., Kathleen T., and everyone else. Thank you so much for supporting everything that we're doing every day here on the show and on the CityCast Portland newsletter. You can still become a member of the Portland Neighbors program if you didn't have a chance. Also, you can give gift memberships as well if you have somebody in your life who you think would really benefit. $10 a month, $100 a year. You can check it out at membership.citycast.fm.
Yes, don't forget that gift option because I know we're in Hanukkah season right now. Christmas is right around the corner. I know a lot of you are procrastinating those gifts. I've been doing the same thing. It's just another perk that we want to put out there for folks to try and share this community hub with others. So yeah, thank you so much for joining.
And I will also say, don't go anywhere if you're tuned in, because right after this conversation, we've actually got a segment sponsored by Simply Eloped. Claudia is going to be chatting with their GM, Janessa White, about how eloping can be made more simple and affordable, and it can be fun too. So, Julia,
who knew?
If you're in the market, we haven't talked about it, but I don't know how your relationship is going. This conversation is just around the corner.
I don't know. I got a big family, so sometimes, sounds like a solid option. Simple the better.
Yeah. Well, Julia, thanks for going through some of the news of the week with me. And yeah, thanks so much for playing along in the lightning round. You'll get there. I have faith that you'll be able to nail it next week.
Thank you, because today was just, thanks, John.
So right off the bat, can you explain to someone what Simply Eloped is? Because when I first heard about it, I thought it was like a company that was just going to make it easier for you to elope.
Well, that's exactly what we do. So you win.
Okay.
You know what that tells me? That tells me we named the company properly. So
okay, perfect. You nailed it. Branding, check.
Yes. So we are the largest elopement provider in the United States. We are set up in 37 destinations with a vendor community of over 850 vendors. And we do exactly what you said. We make the process of planning your small wedding with 20 guests or less super easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you essentially come to us, choose your date, destination, and package. You place a deposit down with us, and then we kick off on the planning cycle. We plan your officiant, photographer, florals, hair and makeup. We give you tips on getting your marriage license. We coordinate either your permit or your venue, and you just get to show up and get married.
Wow. But I mean, eloped usually means like you're not telling anybody.
Actually, that's a great call out. So I would say to like, elder generations, they see elopement having kind of like a negative connotation, like doing it in secrecy, getting hitched, like she's pregnant, they're hiding from the parents. That is an outdated model, not to call you out, but like that's an outdated model of elopement. So, if you think of the pandemic, it was the only thing you could do. And so I would say like during that time, the term has really like transitioned and evolved. And if you ask like a Gen Z, like what do they think elopement is? It's generally like outdoors, affordable, intimate, personalized. A lot of people have anxiety about being in front of large groups or don't have the money to have a wedding. So this is kind of like a grade up from like a city hall ceremony where it's not very personal. It's, bright fluorescent lighting, kind of gross, where you can personalize it and have a high quality wedding without breaking the bank.
So I'm imagining that you've heard of a lot of these stories, like, a lot of success stories using Simply Eloped. Just curious what your favorite story or wedding idea from customers using Simply Eloped has been.
Yeah, I think I really love it when the couple like really highlights the personality or the flavor of their relationship in the ceremony. I think with so many larger weddings, it can be difficult to like really infuse what makes your relationship like the secret special sauce. And so, we did have a ceremony actually nearby because we do offer services in Portland. Silver Falls State Park, they did a Hobbit themed ceremony. So they
cute. Did they do it behind the waterfall?
I don't think they went behind. They went in front so they could get all the photos and everything. But so they were like dressed as hobbits from Lord of the Rings and like performed the ceremony at Silver Falls State Park. So I think that's what I love the most. Other examples of things that I just thought were so hilarious. We had someone in Colorado that had their dog officiated because that's a state that you can self-solemnize. And so their dog was like the officiant and then like signed off on the marriage license like as their officiant with like the paw, you know what I mean? Or we had someone hike into Glacier with a cat in a backpack. So I just really love when people are like personalizing and finding ways to like really make it their own.
Yeah, that is so cool.
It is cool.
Well, have you used Simply Eloped?
Oh my gosh, I'm the biggest hypocrite. I started this company and have been working for Simply Eloped for almost 10 years and I've never been married. So I'm like the biggest hypocrite.
That is so interesting that you're like, never been married, gonna start a marriage company.
Right?
What happened?
You're asking me. I have no idea. It's a weird time.
Oh my God, Janessa. Well, thank you for being here again, everyone. Check out simplyeloped.com to learn more. We're going to have that link in our show notes, so you're just a click away. Janessa, it was a pleasure to host you. Thanks for coming on and telling us a little bit more and giving us the new expanded definition of eloped, which
my pleasure.
It's going to be news to a lot of people, I tell you. That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, share it with a friend or rate and leave us a good review. It really helps us out. And don't forget, you can support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast neighbor. Just visit membership.citycast.fm for all the details. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you with Slims.